Cool. Number one, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for taking the time out. I still own my affiliate, 14 years, CrossFit Rife. I know that it is no small feat. Many of you have traveled far to be here. You've spent money. It's a big deal. So thank you guys for making the investment. Thank you guys for caring about yourselves. I want you guys to continue to do that. Okay. So I'm going to get out of my comfort zone here. They call that expanding the margins of your experience. And, oh, Nate, it happened. It's all right. Let's see. So can you get the presentation back up on here? What I want to talk about here a little bit is we're going to talk about referrals and business, but really what I want you guys to take away from this is there's built-in tactics to all of this stuff, and tactics are a dime a dozen. What we're really looking for is I want you guys to take away the principles of all of these things, just like CrossFit, right? If you understand that the mechanism for getting results is constantly varied function movements executed at high intensity, those are pretty broad left and right lateral limits, okay? And just like business, we have pretty broad left and right lateral limits, but there are some truths inside of that. And the beauty of the affiliate model is that you can do that however you want, right? And there's a ton of great ideas out there. You should take advantage of all of them, okay? So again, my name is Jason Fernandez. Everybody calls me Fern. I've owned an affiliate for 14 years, been on seminar staff for 10. Started a podcast that eventually turned into business development for affiliates. That's all we do. And I wake up every morning and I spend every waking moment of my life thinking about you guys and how to make this thing bigger, better, and stronger. That's all I do. I think about the affiliates, I think about the coaches, I test things, I break things, I ask a lot of questions, and sometimes I piss people off, but that's part of the game, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about some retention stuff in here. And we're going to talk about how to 2x your referrals. But best hour, we believe CrossFit is the best thing to happen to the fitness industry, and we're committed to doing everything possible to make affiliates the premier gyms in the world, full stop. Okay? It's really important. You guys all know how powerful it is, and we should treat it like that. Right? We want to get to more people. We want to do this thing better. And that's really all we need to know. It's like we don't need to change that much. Right? Maybe some operating systems in your gym. But the reality is like CrossFit works. We just need to do it better, okay? Our number one core value is affiliates first. If it is not directly impactful to you all, we don't touch it. We don't talk about it. It doesn't even get a discussion. And I know that because I have my affiliate and I vet everything. I'm like, that's a good idea. Nope, we're not doing that. Let's try that. That could be beneficial. It's really, really important to me that we only put things out for the affiliates that are the best, that are actually working functional tools. There's a lot of great ideas out there, but you guys know how good ideas work. They're just distractions a lot of the time, okay? Just a little bit of my journey. Again, I brought this up last night at the mixer. That's my first shitty gym over there on the left. What pops out to you guys of that picture on that top left? Yeah, a lot of GHDs in that picture, yeah. So, you know, those mistakes go back 14 years. You know, I thought in my 2,500 square foot space that 5 GHDs was appropriate, and it turns out that that is really, really dumb, okay? But yeah, I've really been fortunate to do all things CrossFit for the better part of almost 2 decades, and I would love to do nothing more than this for the rest of my life, okay? And I know you guys feel the same. So let's talk about it. Referrals, but I want to start with this. How many of you guys would be like, I need more leads? Raise your hand if you've ever said that. Everybody put your hand up. Okay, so we're gonna start this relationship with honesty, okay? It's okay, right? Listen, I'm not gonna poo-poo leads. Like, for sure, you need leads. You cannot run a business without a sale. Everything that you do in your business starts with a sale. Every single thing, okay? So we need leads. But you may or may not need more of them, okay? Because you might have what you need, at least to get moving or get momentum. You might already have it. It might be at your disposal. And more often than not, when we pop the hood on affiliates, they actually have what they need, okay? Now, you might still want more, and I want all of you to have more. My vision is every CrossFit gym has 400 members, every single one of them, okay? And some of you are like, I don't want 400 members. I'm like, you do, you do, okay? It's just scary, and that's fine. CrossFit's scary too. You guys will be fine. But that's what we should be shooting for, okay? So here's the question. How many referrals do you guys get on a monthly basis? And this is where we're going to interact a little bit. Raise your hand. This is where it gets weird. Yeah. What you got? 0. Okay. Anybody else?
6 to 10.
6 to 10. That's great. Cool. How many of you guys like really don't track it and don't know? Raise your hand. It's fine. I did not for a very long time. Okay. And that's kind of where we start, is if you are not tracking it, how are we actually going to get a little bit better at it? Okay, or how are we going to continue to grow the business? How many of you guys think CrossFit changes lives? Yeah, sure. So the question becomes like, well, why am I not getting referrals? Okay. And I get this all the time. I'm like, I asked all my members and they all said their friends are here. And then you as the affiliate are like, awkward, right? And that's happened to me more than once. And it hurts, because when you really figure out why they're saying that, we have to do a little introspection, right? I have to really think about, like, all your friends are here? Like, you only hang out with one person at the gym. Like, you have one friend, you know? So it does beg the question of, like, all right, well, what are we going to do about that? And here's what we need to know. There's 2 major components to getting a referral. They have to like your service, okay? And you have to ask the right way, okay? Those are the 2 major components. They have to like your service, and you have to ask the right way. If you don't ask the right way, you're not going to get the referral. And if they don't like your service, you're not going to get the referral. Okay. Now, we also have to understand, like, what is going on when I ask for a referral. Giving a referral involves risk. Right? Anybody ever recommended a shitty restaurant to somebody? I hope not. But the point is, you have to understand, when you ask somebody to give you a referral, that person is taking on a risk. They're trusting you with their reputation. And that's important to understand when you ask for a referral. If I'm going to ask Trish, is it Derek? Yeah, or Patrick, for a referral, I need to understand that, like, that's a big ask. Like, they're trusting me to deliver to their closest friends. And all of you guys want them to do that, and they want to, but we do have to look at that and understand, hey, that means I need to make sure that I deliver, and I need to ask the right way so that I can make them feel better about it. Okay? We know CrossFit works. Okay. Now, this is an important question as well. What would it mean if you could get more referrals than cancellations? What would that mean to the business? Yeah, not only would you grow, you would grow infinitely, okay? And more importantly, it would be free. It would cost you nothing. Okay? So how do we go about doing that? How do we start that process of making sure, okay, well, I've got this mechanism available to me. I know CrossFit works. I tell everybody I have the best community in the world, but I'm not getting referrals. Okay? How do I start to fix that? And all of you guys have the opportunity to fix that. And here's a couple things that I've learned over the past 14 years, and we're going to start to outline that, because I've done it every which way possible. I've messed it up. I've lost 6 figures doing stupid ideas. Like, I've made all the mistakes, trust me. I've gone all the painful routes. I like to consider my journey like only the hard way, like nothing was easy. Okay? I had to do everything 5 times before it actually worked. Okay. So there are 7 things that we need to be true to create a referral machine. Okay. Let's start with number 1. You must offer great service. Full stop. Denise is going to talk about that a little bit later. Make sure you're paying attention. She's the GOAT when it comes to coach development as far as I'm concerned. Like, that's her life's mission, is to make good CrossFit coaches. And if you've never met Denise, it's pretty obvious when you meet her. You're like, hi, Denise. She's like, do you want to be a better CrossFit coach? And I'm like, that was very quick. Right? All right, but that's her jam. And there's 2 components to that. It's got to be fun, and it needs to be world class. Okay? The fun part's pretty easy. There's a lot of fun in shared suffering inside of a CrossFit gym. Is that fair? Yeah, you're like, this sucks. I'll see you tomorrow. Right? Right? That happens all the time. We need to get better as a community, and the questions were like, hey, how do we get better prepared for level 2, level 3, level 4? Okay. Yes, CrossFit needs to do their part. We also need to take ownership. We as affiliate owners need to take ownership of that. We need to own developing coaches. How many of you guys have ever said, I can't find any good coaches? Raise your hand. I've said it. Raise your hand. Cool. Full extension of the elbow. Come on. we know this. Here's the deal. You don't find good coaches. You make them. All the good coaches have jobs already. You got to make good coaches. Okay? And that is going to involve some effort on your part, but it's doable. All the tools are out there. But when you stop saying I can't find them, that's you being a victim. That's me being a victim when I say that or think it, and I have to own that. Hey, you know what would be easier? If I just made good coaches. And you'll make some bad coaches at first. That's okay. That's how it works. Okay? Make good coaches. Right? You make good coaches, you make the environment fun, everything else is easy after that. Your service matters. And the analogies from CrossFit boxes and restaurants is endless. Okay? Having okay coaches is like having a restaurant and the food's okay. Yeah, that restaurant's not going to last. Okay? You need to have great food. Right? You need to have great service. People need to be like, I love this place. The coaches know my name. They know everything about me. They make sure that I move well. They make sure to get a good workout in. It's fun. My community's here. My tribe is here. Okay? We need to hold ourselves to a higher standard when it comes to this. And it's not easy. I recognize that. I have the fortune to work level 1s and level 2s all over the world, and I know it's not easy, right? But it can be done. Right? It just takes work. Keep climbing the credential ladder. How many of you guys updated your credentials on the affiliate map on CrossFit.com? All right, so those of you that haven't, peer pressure now. Everybody saw you not raise your hand. Go update your credentials. Okay. There's something to be said for putting your credentials out to the world. Own it. Okay? And then take all of your coaches and push them down the pipeline. Those are mine at my gym. 4 of us took the level 4 last week in my affiliate. Don't ask me if you passed, I have no idea. Okay. I can tell you it didn't feel great afterwards, but whatever. That's how it works. Everybody's like, how'd it go? And I'm like, I have no idea. Okay. Push your coaches down the credentialing pipeline. This is how we get better. Step number 2, build a logical offer. Okay? It needs to make sense. Most people create subpar offer and they incentivize the wrong person. What is your offer? Anybody have a referral program now? Anybody care to shout out what it is? Like, what's your offer? Like, what are you offering people? $75. What else? 40% off. What else? Yeah, give 60, get 60. The mistake that I made early on is not understanding how that give and take works. And there's important mechanisms to that. Raise your hand if you have, in the past or currently have a referral offer that says, hey, if David brings in Paige, Paige is going to get, or David's going to get his first month or his next month free, right? So if somebody brings in, they get their next month free. Raise your hand if you've run that model, okay? Raise your hand if you've done it the other way. Yeah, and here's the key. You have to incentivize both parties. Both people need to get that because the referral needs to come from their friend, going back to the risk thing. Okay. You need to incentivize both parties. 40% is typically what we recommend. Mathematically, that makes sure that you don't lose on the deal. Okay, so that makes the most sense. 40% is also typically enough to get people's attention. Step 3, you have to repeatedly and systematically put the offer in front of people. Okay, this is why we built the Bring a Friend Week mini course. I know thousands of gyms that have used this all over the world. I was at a summit, maybe earlier this year, and we were doing one of the roundtables, and one of the participants was like, he's like, we do this thing, it's Bring a Friend Week, and I was listening to it, and I was like, okay, yeah. He's doing it, he's like, what do you do? And I was like, well, I do that. He's like, well, how long have you been running? I was like, I made it, yeah, like 6 years ago, still using it today. It works. But you have to have the program. So an offer absent of the vehicle doesn't work. Okay? And that's important to understand. You can't just have the offer, right? That's what distinguishes a program. If I don't have a vehicle to repeatedly put it in front of somebody in a logical fashion, you're not going to get takers on the offer. Okay? But if I'm placing it in front of people 2, 3, 4 times a year, it will work. Okay? And that's what we do, and we do it time and time again, and it works every single time. Who was tell me yesterday, they had 80 people sign up for their Bring a Friend Week. Are they here? Yeah, up there in the back there, 80 people. And we don't work with him, but he was just like, I downloaded the course, and he was like, it worked. And I'm like, I know. Okay. So, but it works for very specific reasons. It's not like we just threw that together and are like, hope and pray. It was like, we've tested over hundreds of gyms, and it's thousands and thousands of people. Like, it works, okay? Because there's some psychology behind it. Right? Right place, right time. Okay? One of these is weird. Now, you might think the one on the right is weird, which means you're weird, okay? But one of these is weird, and this goes back to like right place, right time, okay? Asking out of place is weird, okay? And there's some very specific places that you should be asking for referrals. And people are like, sometimes they ask a question, I'm like, hey, when should you be asking for referrals? And they're like, all the time. And I'm like, I don't think so. I could think of some pretty awkward times to not ask for referrals. You know, I'm like, hey, push those knees out in the bottom squat. By the way, I want to talk to you about a referral program and maybe talk to you about your extended warranty on your car, right? Like, it's weird, right? If it's out of place, it's weird, okay? So it needs to be systematically placed at the right time. Now, what are those times? What are the obvious times that we can look at? During the sales process. When they come in, they're in a hyper state of awareness. They want to know everything. Make the offer right there, okay? Make the offer, you know? Flavia comes in, I'm like, hey Flavia, can't wait to meet you this afternoon. Do you by chance know anybody else that wants to get started with you? We know people do much better when they start with a friend, right? Ask. They may not take you up on it. Don't worry about it. It's not you, it's them, okay? When you close the sale process, when you've put them through your onboarding or whatever it might be, ask them again. Hey, I just want to give you this gift card. It's $100 off. It expires in a week. Give it to somebody. During the promotion, bring a friend week. That's the mechanism. Okay. When they have a big win, and this is the tough one because you got to pay close attention, right? When they hit a PR, when they're down 5% body fat on the in body, when they hit their 100 workout benchmark, catch them at that high point. Ask them if they want to share that with somebody else. It's important. You got to ask, right place, right time. I call that the mayonnaise effect, going back to that picture. If you see somebody just walking down the street eating a jar out of a mayonnaise, it's a sociopath. Okay. Okay. If they're eating a sandwich that has mayonnaise on it, it's not weird. You're like, oh, it's a sandwich. Bring a friend week paired with the offer is the sandwich. You asking for like, hey guys, you guys know we have referrals? You want a referral? Referral? That's mayonnaise. Okay? It's weird. Number 5, reward publicly. Everybody likes to be acknowledged. Okay? You guys all have these members. We'll call them needy. Okay? All right. You know, you acknowledge somebody else in the gym, like, oh, we want to give so-and-so a shout out for their 500th workout. And they're like, I had my 17th workout last week and you didn't say anything about me. It's just like, oh my God. You're like, okay, we'll get you. We'll make sure we get you at 20. Okay? But reward publicly. This goes back to number 1, everybody likes to be acknowledged, but I'm continuing to re-educate people that we have a referral. Okay? You know what to get people's attention? You start handing out cash at the whiteboard. Right? They're like, what's that for? I'm like, we have a referral. They're like, what? I'm like, you've been here for 13 years. Like, how do you not know that? Okay? Reward them at the whiteboard. Again, peer pressure. It works. CrossFitters are uniquely susceptible to peer pressure, oddly enough. Right? And if you don't think that's you, when was the last time you took a rest day? Okay? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. How do we reward them? Here's the deal. There's a couple things listed up here. These are not the end all be all. These are like one of maybe 100 different ideas. And so the number of ideas is not the point. Okay? The point is, I can give them cash, swag, credit to the store, whatever. It doesn't matter, but give them something. If you want to give them, you know, I've seen people like do social media posts where like people bought those like big checks, like really funny, like they won the lottery. Like I've seen people do that, okay? And be really liberal with the referral, okay? I mean, like do not withhold. I get a lot of questions about this and they're like, well, you know, should I make sure that the person stays for 3 months before I give the referral? I'm like, no, that's on you. Your job is to make sure that they stay, not the client. They did their job, they brought them in. They took the risk already. The rest of it is on you. Make sure that person likes it. You're like, what if that person brings in 5 people? Do I have to give them a referral for all 5? I'm like, yes. Do you have any idea how much money that person just brought you? Let's just say it was average client value of $2,000 for you. They just brought you $10,000. You can give them 250 bucks, right? And they will continue to bring more people. And the beauty of this is, how many of you guys know the term average client value? Is that, yeah, okay, great. So average client value is essentially the average dollar value of each of your clients on average, which is an important metric to know. You need to know that metric. I do not think it is as important, however, as average client worth. Okay, ACW. Average client worth is significantly more important. You can have an average client value of somebody might have $200, but if I have somebody who's like one of my like rock stars who brings in somebody all the time and they brought you 10 clients, their average client worth is significantly higher than that $200 average client value person. They are bringing you gobloads of business. Recognize who those people are and feed them. Take care of them. Don't just give them money, buy them like a reservation to the best restaurant in town. Okay? Reciprocate. They're not bringing you a little bit of business, they're bringing you a lot of business. Okay? Don't withhold. Give them the referral. Reward the good behavior. Step number 6, track your numbers. This used to be the face I make when somebody's like, you gotta know your numbers. I'd be like, oh, God, I hate you. Right? It's mostly because I'm not great with numbers. My college transcript says 2.11. Right? It wasn't good. Okay. But you do need to know your numbers. You gotta know your numbers, just like in fitness. You're like, hey coach, what should I put on the bar? And they're like, well, what'd you use last time? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, this is gonna be a long road. Yeah, this is gonna be problematic. You gotta know your numbers. The challenge becomes, which numbers do I need to know? Okay? There's a lot of numbers in your business. We gotta figure out what are the best numbers to know. Okay. This is a big one. Okay? Your referral to cancellation ratio. In a perfect world, you would have a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay? Well, let's say it is a negative ratio, which for many of you it will be, probably for almost everybody. How much better would it be if you were to cut that in half, that ratio, right? So how many of you get on average 5 to 6 cancellations a month? Raise your hand. Yeah, some of the smaller gyms get that. Some of the larger gyms you'll get 10, 15, right? Like the math works differently at 250 to 300 clients, right? It's a different ball game. Okay, cool. Well, how do I make up that difference? I could go with the more leads option, or I could double down on referrals. And let's say that you could take those cancellations and cut them in half just by building in the systems and mechanisms to basically leverage the people that are already doing good things inside my affiliate. Okay? That's a really significant number that you should know. I also think you should track cancellation and holds together, right? That hold probably will turn into a cancel. It's for sure lost revenue, okay? So when you look at cancellations, how many cancellations? Because there are scenarios when you're like, well, it shows a net positive number of members this month, but I'm down on revenue. That's because you weren't tracking the 7 holds that went on that month too, okay? Because if you know that, you can act accordingly. You say, oh, I'm down actually 14 members this month, or 14 clients giving me money this month. I can react to that. And this whole game is about avoiding being a victim inside of your own business. Okay? And I did this forever, and it's embarrassing to talk about. We get to the end of the month, and I'm like, let's see what happened. And I'm like, that sucks. Okay? We had a bad month. You don't have to have a bad month. You don't have to have a bad month. You can be proactive about it. If you know you've got cancellations coming in the door halfway through the month and you just sit there and you take it, that's on you. That's on you. That's like somebody's like, I'm going to punch you in the face, and you just decide not to move your face. Right? That's not a great idea. Right? I can do things. I can launch a whole number of promotions inside of the next 2 weeks in order to try to make that up. And maybe you net 0 for the month. And I'm going to tell you that's a win sometimes in business, is not taking the hit. Okay? And you can do that if you track the numbers. And this is one of many. Okay? Step number 7, you have to actually ask. Okay? You have to learn to ask. How many of you guys are like afraid to ask people for money? It's totally cool if you are. Right? And you're like, would you like to join? Are you ready? Right? Ask. Ask. Ask with confidence. You guys have the tool, CrossFit. You care immensely about the people that walk in your doors. Just ask. Understand they have no obligation to take the offer. You do have an obligation to ask. And as long as you shed yourself of that burden, you're fine. Like, hey, you got a referral? Nope. Okay, cool. I'll ask you again tomorrow or whenever we do it again, right? Just ask. And ask with confidence. Ask if they know somebody. Ask if they'd like to share it. But you gotta ask. Wanted to share this with you guys just to wrap this up. Few ideas work on the first try. Iteration is the key to innovation. Few ideas work on the first try. None of my ideas work on the first try. So I started playing a different game years ago. I'm like, how do I get to the 5th iteration of this as fast as possible? I know the first 4 are probably not gonna work. And if they do, great, then I move on to the next thing. Don't be afraid of failure. Most of the things you are gonna do as a business owner are going to fail. It's okay, that is business. It's like giving cues in the gym. Right? Always refer, like seeing and correcting, it's like baseball. If you bat 300 in the major leagues, you're going to the Hall of Fame. Okay? Cues are the same way. When I teach level 2s, you see the person with the deer in headlights and they're like this. They're like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, say something, right? They're like, I don't know if it's gonna work. And I'm like, nobody knows if it's gonna work. You gotta say something, anything whatsoever, okay? It's the same in business. You don't have to know if it's going to work to try it. It just needs to be based on logic and you need to be prepared to iterate on it. Why didn't it work? Why didn't it work? That might be the most important question you can ask yourself as both a coach and a business owner. How many of you have tried something, you're like, it didn't work? And you're like, it's dumb. Yeah, all of us. Right? It didn't work probably because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It's not that it didn't work. Everything works. It just depends on how you do it. Okay. Be prepared to iterate. The stuff I've laid out here, that's the baseline level of how you do this. Those are the 7 steps. All of you will make multiple, dozens of iterations on the thing that I laid out here. Those of you that do it the fastest will see the most success. Okay. Get to the desired outcome. It's like training. Anybody snatch perfectly on day 1? Nobody should raise their hand. Okay. Yeah, you grab the PVC pipe first day and it was just like hot mess express. You don't know what's going on. You're like, do you know where your arms are? Did you quit? You're like, well, I guess this isn't for me. I couldn't do the most complex. Yeah. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I did actually. You're a power lifter, it's fine. He's like, this isn't for me. Yeah, but no, you didn't quit. You're like, hey, I'm gonna come back tomorrow and try it again. Treat your business the same way. All the things you need to know about running a better business are housed in the level 1 manual. Expand the margins of your experience. Get better at it. Be okay with failure. It's inevitable. You're not going to avoid it. Okay. Iterate faster. You'll see much more success. You'll be much happier because I want nothing more than for all of you to love walking into your affiliate every single day for the next 20 years. Because here's what I want to kind of close with and we'll do some questions. I call this the ripple. I kind of started it with Chuck. I don't think in 2007 Chuck was like, I'm going to see that guy working together in 14 years from now, right? No. You have no idea how far those ripples go. Okay. But I'm going to tell you they go real far. They go real far. Act like it. Act like you know that. Act like you know how far those ripples will go. You'll have better interactions with your staff. You'll have better interactions with your clients. You'll be happier. Okay? Treat it for like what it is. Listen, thank you guys. Thank you guys for what you do. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for listening to me run my mouth for an hour. If you guys have questions, I'll be here all day. But outside of that, thank you guys. I appreciate you. I love you guys. And I'll be in the back if you guys want to chat. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. If you're a CrossFit affiliate owner, we've got a ton of free resources and tools for you to help grow your business, your membership base, and your team. Just head to besthouroftheirday.com through the link on this video. And if you'd like a free assessment of your business and a planned out strategy for your success, book a call with one of our coaches about Affiliate University. We'd love to help you develop the business and coaches you need to turn your affiliate into a thriving community. Thanks for watching.